All right. Hello, yogis. Here we go. All right, so we remember the 3 no's. No competition, no pain, no judgment. Breathing through the nose, both the inhalation and the exhalation. All right, and then we're going to start off with the sun salutation. All right, so we're going to inhale both arms up overhead, interlace our fingers, turn palms towards the ceiling. Try to straighten your arms and lengthen your spine. Exhale, hinge at the hip, forward fold. All right, inhale, come back up. Both hands go on your right thigh. You lift your right leg, you wiggle your foot clockwise. All right, come down, switch legs, wiggle the foot clockwise. Notice that it's easier to wiggle one foot clockwise than the other. Interesting. All right, and then your shoulders go back, your chest comes out, so you get a mild back bend. Inhale the arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinge your hip, forward fold. Right, inhale, come back up, the palms come together, hands in front of the stomach, and release down. All right, inhale the arms up overhead, interlace the fingers, turn the palms towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. And you're working at your own pace. Remember, you can always pause the video if you want. Come back up. Both hands go on to your left thigh. You wiggle the foot counterclockwise. All right, come down. Right leg counterclockwise. All right. Come back. Chest comes out. You inhale your arms up. Interlace your fingers. Palms toward the ceiling. Exhale. Hinge at the hip. Forward fold. All right. Then we come back up. The palms come together. The hands in front of the sternum. We're going to release down. Yes, we are. Now, we're going to take our hands. You want your thumb towards the pad of your pinky finger. And take your arms out shoulder height. You're going to inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right, we'll come back to center. We're going to take our hands on our shoulders. We're going to inhale the elbows all the way back and exhale. Touch. Inhale back. And exhale. See if you can touch. Just get as close as you can. If you can touch, you touch. If you can't, just get as close as you can. All right, we're going to release them. We're going to take our arms out, shoulder height. You're going to take your left hand to your right ribs, right hand to your left ribs. Give yourself a hug. Yes. You can do this anytime. You don't have to wait till the video. All right, now we come back. We switch arms. So right hand, left hand, and give yourself a hug. Okay. So we come back. Now we're going to twist. We're going to take our left hand on our right ankle, take it right on towards the ceiling. Now you can stop here, or some people may be able to take the hand behind the back, hold their opposite thigh. So you get a nice twist. All right, then we're going to come back to center. We're going to go the other way. So right hand, left ankle, left arm towards the ceiling, or left hand behind the back, holds the right thigh. All right, we're going to come back up. So now we want to do lion's pose. So we remember we're going to inhale, and when we exhale, arms come up, eyes bug out of the head, tongue comes out of the mouth, and you roar as long as you can on one exhalation. No competition, no pain, no judgment. If you get lightheaded or dizzy when you do this, you don't do it. You're always on your own body. All right, so if you do something that doesn't feel good or doesn't feel right, then you stop doing it. All right, so remember now we're going to set an intention. If there's anything bothering you, you try to let it go with this roar. So exhale, take a deep inhalation. Ah. Alright, so we'll do the second round. Same thing, set an intention. If it's the same intention, it's okay. You try to let it go. You don't want to hold on to negative energy. Exhale. Take a deep inhalation. So we're going to do one more. So again, anything that's bothering, try to let it go with this raw. All right, so you exhale, you take a deep inhalation. All right, so now we want to do some laughter, right? So again, you don't necessarily need a joke to laugh, but sometimes it helps. So what do you call what? Shoes that are made out of bananas. I give you a chance, don't look this up on the internet. The answer is slippers. Slippers. Oh, I tell you. Now, some people have told me that I should hold up a newspaper with today's date on it because I look like I'm a hostage. I would like you to know I'm not a hostage. So the newspaper is what they call proof of life if you have a kidnapping situation. So I don't know about you, but I thought that was pretty cute. I'm not being held hostage. All right. So now, we talked about yoga as the union of the mind, the body, and the breath. But what the definition of yoga is, come on, all stay with me, the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. So we're trying to learn how to still the mind, to quiet down the mind. And you might think this is easy, but when you try to actually do it, not so easy as it seems. So we have 3 ways to learn how to concentrate. And concentration is to go for 12 seconds or so without having a thought, which again seems easy until you actually try to do it. So there's 3 different methods they have. And then the 4th method is anything that works for you. And what you should try to do is try each of these methods for a week or 2, and then you see which method works the best for you, clearing your mind. And then you begin to use that. And what I like to start off with is 2 minutes every day, seated, spine lengthened. You can sit on the floor if that's your practice. You can sit in the chair. As long as your spine is lengthened, your neck is in line with your spine, so energy flows up the spine to the crown chakra to become enlightened. Okay. So the first method we have is to use the breath. So what we're going to do is, when I tell you, we're going to close our eyes. We're going to try to focus our attention on our breath. So as you inhale and exhale through your nose, you're focusing on the breathing. And we're going to do this for 2 minutes when I tell you. And then you'll see how that works. Now, usually what happens is as you inhale, there's a pause. And then you exhale, there's another pause. And during the pause is usually when thoughts try to creep in. So If you have a thought during this practice, what you try to do is to clear your mind, let go of the thought, and come back to focusing on your breath. All right? So 2 minutes of this, and we'll see how that works for you. So you want to close your eyes, lengthen your spine. Again, breathing through your nose, and we'll begin. And now we'll bring our attention back into the room. So that was 2 minutes. I timed it, and it may seem like a lot longer than 2 minutes to you. Usually when you start to do this practice, you have lots of thoughts. So it's like learning to play the piano. I tell people, try to do 2 minutes every day, because most of us can get 2 minutes into our schedule, right? You get up a little earlier. I can't get up early, I need my sleep. You go to bed a little later. I can't go to bed later, I need my sleep. If it's important to you, you'll find 2 minutes. Now, better to do this in the morning when your mind is pretty much clear. At night, you tend to have all the things that are going on during the day. It makes it harder to clear your mind. But whenever you get the 2 minutes, it can be any time, you use the 2 minutes to do that. Right? Now, for some people, that works fine. They focus on their breath, they're able to clear their mind, they recognize they're not focused on their breath, they're having a thought, they let go, they come back to their breath. So that's one method. You can try that for a week or two and see if that works for you. The second method we can use is to count our breath backwards from 100. And I like to use two parts to this. You inhale 100. You exhale 99. You inhale 98. You exhale 97. You inhale 96. You exhale 95. And you continue down to 0. Now, if you get to 0, then you just start back at 100. Now you're practicing the counting, and all of a sudden you have a thought. Now the key is not that you don't have the thought. The key is that you let go of the thought and come back to what you focus on, your breath or your counting. So that's the trick. It's not that your mind shuts down completely. It's just that you recognize you're having a thought, so you're not focused on your one-pointed focus concentration, and you let go of the thought and you come back. And as you develop the practice, it becomes easier to recognize that you've had the thought and come back to your focal point. Okay? So that's the counting method, right? We inhale, we exhale. Now, if you're counting and all of a sudden you realize you're not counting anymore, you're having a thought, then what you want to do is just start back at 100. Don't try to remember what number you're on, because that makes it more difficult to go back to the practice. You just start back at 100, all right? So again, you have the thought, you let it go, you come back to counting. So we're going to start again for 2 minutes. So you close your eyes, lengthen your spine, try not to move as you do this, and we begin. All right, and we'll bring our attention back. So we have the breath, we have the counting. Now, the third method is to use a mantra. And a mantra is a word or a phrase that we repeat over and over. Now, the famous mantra is Om, right? So you inhale and you exhale Om. If you have a guru gives you a sacred mantra which you use. Okay, so I like to use a two-part mantra because you match the breath. The inhalation is part of the mantra, the exhalation is the other part of the mantra. Now, sample mantra, you inhale, I am. You exhale, calm. You inhale, I am. You exhale, peaceful. So something positive, right? You make a positive mantra. I'm happy, calm, joyful, etc., etc. No negative mantras. All right, so it's a two-part mantra. So you can make up your own. Now you can go online and look up mantras, and there's mantras all over. So you want to try to find a mantra that works for you, that keeps your attention focused on the mantra during the inhalation and the exhalation. All right? So again, better to do this a little bit, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. If you start to feel good because you calm yourself down, then you can go longer. All right? But when you do this, you shouldn't get nervous or antsy, and it may take you a while to get to that point because your mind has never had to quiet on its own. So when we learn to concentrate, we realize that the mind is always going, and the mind doesn't really want to quiet down. And what happens is you get a thought, what am I going to have for lunch? Then you start to think, well, if I have that for lunch, what am I going to do for dinner? Now, what did I have for dinner last night? And so you start off with one thought and it becomes a whole story. All right? So what we're trying to do is when you have the first thought, what am I having for lunch? you let that go. You can say to yourself, I'll think about that after the practice. All right, now I made you hungry. Stop it. You'll get a chance to eat later. All right, so you're going to select your own mantra. You could select let go, right? Inhale, let, exhale, go. So any mantra that's positive for you, you can use that mantra. All right, here we go. You're going to close your eyes, lengthen your spine, try not to move your body, and we begin. And we'll bring our attention back into the room. So if you're doing the entire yoga practice, what you would do is you would start off with the poses, the sun salutation, and then whatever poses you're doing for that day. All right. Followed by Shavasana, where you relax, and then you do your meditation. Or you can just get up and do what you do, and then you do your meditation, and then when you get a chance, you do your poses. So the most important part is that yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. So you're trying to learn to still your mind. You do the poses so you strengthen your body, so you can sit and meditate without your shoulder hurts, your hip hurts, your knees hurt, right? So you strengthen your body so you can meditate. All right, so now we're going to do our Shavasana practice. Once again, you're going to close your eyes if you're still awake. You close your eyes. When we do this, try not to move your body. We're going to begin with the left foot. You're going to bring your attention to your left foot. You're going to relax the toes, the sole, the heel, the arch, and the top of the foot. Relax your left foot. Relax your left ankle. Relax your left shin and your left calf. Relax your left knee. Relax your left thigh. Relax your left hip. Bring your attention to your right foot. Relax the toes, the sole, the heel, arch, and the top of the right foot. Relax your right foot. Relax your right ankle. Relax your right shin and calf. Relax your right knee. Relax your right thigh. Relax your right hip. Relax your stomach and your lower back. Relax your chest and your upper back. Relax your left hand and your left wrist. Relax your left forearm and your left elbow. Relax your left upper arm and shoulder. Relax your right hand and your right wrist. Relax your right forearm and your right elbow. Relax your right upper arm and your right shoulder. Relax your neck and your throat. Relax your mouth and your jaw. Relax your eyes and your face. Relax your ears and your scalp. So all the muscles in your body are relaxed. So try to bring your attention to your breath. If you have thoughts, try to let go of the thoughts. You come back to your breath. Or if you use the counting or a mantra, you can do that. But again, you're trying to quiet your mind. All right? So you begin. And now we'll bring our attention back into the room. We'll wiggle our hands, wiggle our feet. We're going to take our arms out the side, palms up. You want to try to match the breath with the movement as you inhale your arms up overhead. And you exhale down, movement and breath. You inhale up, the palms come together, hands in front of the sternum. And once Again, we end the class by saying namaste, which has many meanings. And like I honor you, you honor me. Thank you all for watching the video. Stay safe and healthy. Namaste. All right.